on this one too. Good morning and welcome in coffee with me. Hello, I'm drinking tea. If you're on the YouTube thing, you can see the cards. Wee. Just adjusting. There we go. Jump off my head. Okay. That's fine. Let's ground it in this morning. We are working with the new chapter tarot today. And we're going to discuss a little bit about the science and the art of transformation. I am your transformation guide, figuring out the beginning of transformation. Having gone through many transformations, I put away invocation. That's okay. Let's start with 4 cups. Something about hibernating to balancing emotions, emotional themes have kind of been pervading my channeling sessions. So you can look at that a little bit too. If you are on any of the live feeds and you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Put them in the comment below. I'll do my best to watch. Let's just start here. Feel I don't want to call it anxiety, just more energy today. I opened up to Wands. She's kind of got her heart over her chest space. I'm clearing this out too. It's just it's okay. People are coming in the room, so I'm trying not to get distracted. We gotta start somewhere. Cups, yes, welcome in to my studio, and the door open. 4 cups. Let me show you this a little bit here. We'll talk about it a little bit. Stillness and contemplation. To the extreme of emotional stagnation or boredom, you may have closed yourself off, or you're waiting for that ideal scenario to release you from your current state. This is the suspension of not yet. Interpersonally, the 4 of Cups can denote an unchallenging, smothering love, all your emotional needs met to the detriment of your growth. It is complacency and comfort, caregiving as a means of control. There's kind of a lot packed into that. My thoughts maybe lately being on how to move forward, getting out of these situations, overcoming what to cut out that no longer serves you. Something there about coercive control too, or back to materialization from yesterday. Yesterday's reading was so weird. I don't think today's going to be any less weird. 3 Swords is here. So, is there something halting you, preventing you from taking this initial step? People will transform oftentimes if they're forced to. But if you're going to do something consciously, just to even dive into the cover of this guy, Matrix Energetics applies the principles of quantum physics as a unique and effective approach to healing. This is the essence of energy medicine. So maybe if we, I don't know, encompass here. In my research in neurological implications of aesthetics and consciousness, the implications there lean towards self-regeneration, regenerative transformation. Ooh, maybe that's a good way of putting it. Through creative processes, as it pertains to consciousness, and consciousness as it pertains to things such as matrix energetics. Oftentimes there's balance here. We've got the scales, and it's Libra season. So addressing balance, or I'm gonna go into the book for that one because I've got let's say a lot of Libras in my life, or even like Libra rising, and I want to put my personal interpretation of it over here, and then kind of rely a little heavily on the scientific aspects of this, of the science and the art of transformation. So we'll kind of put two and two together to create one. There is a third component and a third dynamic here. 3 discs keep showing up as far as triangles, or even pyramids, but redirecting energies to different times and spaces. But again, there's like a prevention or stopping that transformation from happening. We might come back to this little bunny rabbit because I don't know. There's just kind of a lot chalked into that one. All right, 3 swords. Let's look at that because this one is trying to prevent. It's like it's like death is trying to stop you from something, or like I don't want to make it that, but there's like this very cloaked thing broken into the throat chakra. In my path, or in my journey of transformation, one of the paths that I took through like hypnotherapy or hypno exploration into the psyche through metaphorical representations of archetypes that come through subconscious processes. Hey, there's a mouthful for you. I had an imagery session where like being submerged underwater, I like deep water, pulled something out of my throat, like metal, like a sword or something like that, and then like tar everywhere just came out. As like a emotional suppression through maybe some of these I don't want to call them nurturing forces, caretaking forces. Okay. Loss, disappointment. You have come to the understanding that you can go no further down the path you are currently on, and a tough decision is before you. Painful or harsh words have been spoken that cut too quick. This is a sobering reality check, disillusionment from your expectations. It's kind of like in a nutshell from yesterday, coming out of the birds and the birds talking, and the crows and that work. it's painful. You kind of just like have to make that decision. But yes, you do have to be careful of the words you use. Words can be used to harm. Like the whole like sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. That's not true. Words are vibrations. We respond to vibrations, especially through like liquids, fluids. It's like a dissonance in the vocal harmony. Something else about the expectations too, because people try to place expectations on you or situations or like expectations that they're in control. And then that detachment from reality makes those truths quite sobering, which makes a lot of this information difficult to absorb if not ready to address it and acknowledge an opportunity to make a transformation. Okay, so upholding 3 different dynamics. I'm going to say like variation in gray tones to diversity, but something within the spectrum. 3 discs. This is such an interesting deck. You see the cover on the chapter by Catherine Briggs. I don't use it too often because it is kind of striking, like abrupt in its interpretations, but I like that about it because it's not comfortable. And we were talking about sitting in discomfort yesterday. Discs, earth stuff is uncomfortable, right? Like sitting in the dirt, sitting in the rocks, walking on the ground without the support of shoes and difficult areas. Like that's painful. But something about that direct connection is important. We put a lot of buffers and supports in place. Something about arches, archways, bridging gaps, filling gaps, because there were like air gaps and air pockets yesterday of like trying to skip the line or trying to circumnavigate or get around something without like fully penetrating or saturating the whole. Progress through collaboration, a supportive working environment, equitable systems of growth that disenfranchise no one. This card encourages us to pull up others as we climb. When the 3 of discs appears, building our growth is taking place, leading to tangible results. More work will need to be done, but you're already well on your way to achieving your goal. Thoughts become things, and that thoughts are actions. Thinking is an action. You're generating an action potential within the brain, an electrical signal, throwing that through the brain, right, to propel momentum, to transfer energy, right? Energy, again, cannot be created or destroyed, so we either contain it or we transfer it. So in that transmission, there's a collective integration. I opened up here, and I do have it flagged or dog-eared. Something about balance. Sacral vertebrae out of place. The spine is an energetic channel for Kundalini yoga, and I think one of my biggest frustrations with the medical healthcare system is that they want to lean into pharmaceuticals to address emotional problems, when I think a lot of the emotional stuff is relegated to the energy that is circumnavigating or spiraling up through the spine of vertebrates that are out of place, or anything that's pinching nerves or interfering with that electrical signal. It's going to create a disruption in the expression, and that's not something that you can resolve with like psych meds. That's stupid. Opening up to this page is talking about chiropractic. But I feel like you have to be careful there. Choose a role model until you roll up the old disgruntled self, replace its essence with the values and qualities you would need in order to be the person who has what you truly want. When you really know and not just believe that you deserve, you can have it. Something about knowing too. I know nothing, but in knowing that I know something, I know I have access to knowledge in all things. Like, I don't know how I know, I just know. That was an intuitive thing that kind of popped up in my morning meditation this morning. Especially in this space, like, I don't know, I just know it's a knowing. Experiencing new realities is here. One way to really get the power of a new idea is to have an experience with an altered or non-sensus reality that takes you so far outside of your normal comfort zone that you experience a conversion of reality. It's kind of what this is, right? Getting you so far outside of your comfort zone in a pretty abstracted way, or abstracting something to you to like come around to an idea without having to be directly confronted with it. Like, you come to it on your own terms through these metaphorical representations. I want to say some people say storytelling. Again, art versus science. So art, it's not the versus, it's one and the other. It's not one or. It's not a no, but it's a yes and. Because you can have both. They interrelate. King of Swords, King of Discs. I kind of shuffled those weird. And two half piles. So on one hand, there's like the slow and steady, the discs, the wells. But then there's like wanting to fight, so the keep it versus lose it. One is grounded, one's in the stars. The earth versus the heavens, heaven and earth, unification. Bringing two different components together. This has a constellation in it. Astrology is a theme that keeps coming up, or I keep really intrigued by what's going on up in the sky right now. Exploring things beyond our wildest dreams is why. Stories about it's like there's like telling what happened, and then there's like using art as a means to convey the same information without being so literal. Because there's like literal storytelling, and then there is a way of getting scientific principles across in a metaphorical way. Again, that like crisscrossing. I opened a sword, so let's look at that one first. So on one hand or the other. So King of Swords, a person of dispassionate reasoning, of dry facts and intellectual pursuits. You can kind of see. Okay, fine. For the King of Swords, the scientific method is law. When referring to a person, the king is an expert in their specialized field. This card encourages you to approach a situation via intellectual means, gather raw data through experiment. But if you looked at the problem objectively, just pros and cons. So, okay, logic on one hand, the science on the one hand. What you see is not always what you get. We're going back to matrix energetics as an understanding or pairing of the literal sense. Let's see, let's look at King of Discs and we're going to compare them. And it's discs, so you can guess that it has more to do with emotions. Here we are. He's got this little tortoise with him too. The tortoise in the hair comes to mind. Oh, interesting, because we have our rabbit here from the beginning of this as far as like tortoise in the hair. And the hair is sleeping, caught sleeping, or it gets bored, or kind of loses sight of the race. Or there's just conflict around as well, something that's driving it into a burrow. Because little bunnies, they're pretty susceptible to attack, but they're super sensitive. They can sense vibrations and things. Both this, interesting that the tortoise is underground and rabbits are burrowing creatures. Tortoises burrow as well. Both going into hibernating season. King of Discs. Oh, okay. Sorry. Like I said, it's in the clouds too. Methodical wealth management, planning or preparations in worldly esteems when referring to a person, materially successful, a business leader, provider that might not consider the emotional or spiritual needs of their beneficiaries. That's kind of related to this one too. Providers not considering the emotional needs, maybe because things are too caught up in logic. Not one to take risks. The king is steadfast yet stubborn, someone who needs to remain within their strictly curated comfort zone to achieve great things. Something about so the creativity, the art, and the science, right? There's a fusion. Okay, what you see is not always what you get. It is good to have things that you can count on, don't you think? If you're on an icy road and it is snowing, you want to know that your snow tires will hold the road reasonably well. You want to know with a high degree of certainty that if you add 2 and 2, you will get 4 when using classical arithmetic. I was watching something yesterday about 2 and 2, and just kind of like the magic of this number, because it's 2 times 2 is 4, 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 squared is 4, but not very many numbers. I don't know if any other numbers do that mathematically. And here we have a 4. Which again creates an energy or something that cycles back in on itself. It's self-perpetuating. Self-perpetuating, whether good or bad, it's kind of besides the point. I don't know, I kind of want to get out of this deck for a minute. At least, let's see, let's put all of these back in here. I'm going to shuffle them again. And then maybe go for conjure cards. I might pull something out of the House of Wonderland. This guy's jumping out. He's sitting on top. Our Princess of Cups. It's a Princess of Cups, but there's like a man on the front. He's got glasses. And beard. So it's moon motions. He's holding a cup barely in his hand with the moon levitating out of it. So something about coming to terms, reuniting that feminine and masculine, the polarities. Princess of Cups. I'm going to try to not make it so long today. Yesterday was very long. And it's kind of a tough one to sit through. But I think you have to be in a certain space or certain frequency to kind of absorb it. This one feels more linear. The other one feels more like, I don't know, hidden messages, hidden gems, being able to just pick a point, kind of start from there. It doesn't matter where you start. You just have to start somewhere. Just the thought of starting is the initiation or the invocation to it. It's already that action potential that is created. Brains are kind of smart dumb like that, where once they think something is, once you've imagined it, thinks it's already done it, but getting the body to sync up with the imagination there to create the reality is more challenging. Compassion and feeling grounded in the material plane through direct action, nurturing or helping those around you to thrive. Funny how you can be at the bottom of the barrel with nothing, but still be able to lift people up and bring people up. It's not a matter of what you have materially. It is the energy that is given forward. It is the channel and the connection that is conveyed, and the energy that is given. That is important. Because it's the matrix energetics. It's going beyond the rules into the laws, the quantum laws. In society, we make rules and call them laws, but they're not laws because they change, so they're rules. But the laws are the things that don't necessarily change, but they equate or become the equations that demonstrate change and transformation. Solutions, not problems. The header on the book. Solutions, not problems. So it just talks about rules. So ultimately, you are the one with a lot of help who makes up the rules for your experience of reality. Wouldn't it be great if you noticed that your vision of the rules for your reality wasn't working so well, and you could exercise your freedom to choose to release some of your negative or limiting beliefs and concepts? Something is not working for you and you realize that it is possibly within your power to change it. Wouldn't you be willing to try to make your outcomes a better match for your deep desires? One of their inner guides once told them, a different take on a phrase from the Serenity Prayer. My guide's version was, God, give me the grace to accept the things that I cannot change, and grant unto me the power to change the things that I cannot accept. Something in there about radical acceptance too. Accepting that something is happening, not that passive, my kid's just throwing rocks, no big deal, it's just gonna happen, kids just throw rocks. No, it's accepting, okay, my kid is throwing rocks. How do we create a solution so that the kid is no longer throwing rocks? How do problem sets get to be such problems? The 100th monkey. This goes through that collective consciousness thing. Silly monkey, let go of the banana in the jar. Maybe you need to hear this, little monkey. The name 100th monkey refers to what researchers saw happening when a species of monkeys on an isolated island learned a new behavior. Keep in mind, words are behavior, verbal behavior, learning new behaviors. Human interactions have to do with behavior. So what are behaviors you're learning, maybe subconsciously, that might be new, that would be benefiting or not benefiting you? In this case, washing the sand off a potato before ingesting it. At some critical mass, when enough monkeys on the island had learned to do this, Suddenly and simultaneously on the other outlying islands, the monkeys of the same species spontaneously began washing their potatoes in exactly the same manner. Although this report was actually determined to be speculation and not observation on the part of the researchers, it was originally published as factual. In spite of attempts to clarify the misinformation, the 100th monkey effect has become a cultural parable that has propagated in a manner not unlike morphic resonance itself. That's funny I mentioned morphic resonance. Cultural parables as far as stories, right? Truth being hidden as something false, but something false being portrayed as truth. Things aren't what they seem. Similar thing happened with a species of white rats. Rupert Sheldrake is even in here too. I got to meet that guy. Quite interesting. I have so many questions for him. So, like, the whole idea, like, knowledge and self-access to healing and tapping into this morphic resonance field, or all energy and information and knowledge and everything always exists all the time. Tap in again through that energetic wheel. So your beliefs about your body and your spirit and your energy is going to determine how well this works for you. But it's the 100th monkey effect. You don't need everybody to do it. And if enough people do it, everybody's just going to simultaneously start doing it anyway. If it's genetically beneficial, something about the gene code there too. Evolution is interesting. Princess of Wands is here too. Did I look at the rest of this Prince of Cups for you? Maybe you need to look at this if you're just jumping on. Okay. Helping those around you to thrive, or elevating, boosting people up even though you have nothing or very little. It doesn't take much. Again, it's an energetic, it's a frequency thing, it's a vibration that we're elevating and that we're talking about. The princess champions creativity and fosters appreciation and support of the arts. She is the embodiment of working towards an ideal world, childlike innocence, unselfish love, and rooting what is felt in what can be achieved right now. So what can be achieved right now? That's another theme that keeps coming up. Changing, or transformation implies alchemy. Alchemy implying transformation. Why are we talking about this? I don't know. A degree in transformative leadership. Interesting that leadership has the word lead in it, and in alchemy, lead is transformed into gold. This concept has been appearing in other aspects of my life, so it's probably why it's at the forefront of my mind right now. The lead ship into gold. Well, interesting that pirates take their ships in search of gold treasure. So crossing the seas, that this is a story. It's a parable. It's fables that appear in a lot of different cultures. But pirates go over the seas, the emotional turmoil. They endure the emotional turmoil on their lead ships in search of gold. And then they reach these islands, like these monkeys, right? Where they dig, they do the work, the digging, the introspection, and then they discover and they find gold. So we have Princess of Wands standing there kind of in her fire and then alchemizing aspect. Let's look at that one. Vacation is next. Do I want to come back there? No. Let's move forward instead of keep trying to look backwards. Stop trying to turn back now. Moana is a really interesting story that's got a lot of themes in it. water things. I've been staring at the water for as long as I can remember. It looks out on the horizon. There's just no telling how far I will go. But something is calling and pulling to make that change, to make that difference happen. So you can do things unlike anybody else. That's why you can do things individually. And have such a profound impact. But it has to be community relevant. It can't be self-serving. Otherwise, you get bored. Things gonna fall apart. Okay. This lady. When she got her moon to her new moon, we're going into a new moon cycle. She's got that right at the top. She's in an archway to coming through a portal, stepping through. We have like a tapestry, like a rug on fire. Aladdin lying on his rug. Do we need to go there? I don't think we need to go that direction. Where are you? Princess of Wands. There you go. Lust for life and the desire to try new things. This card is an invitation to embark on a journey of discovery. No direction or course of action has been defined yet. The princess is the unbridled energy of possibility, unfurling a map, starting an adventure at level 1. The barriers that once prevented you from taking this leap are burning away. Well, that's good to know because we're trying to get rid of barriers, veils, and blocks, and we've been looking at that which prevents us from seeing forward onto the other side through emotional stuff. And then I have on my art table, my creative table, I've been working on a collage series. I got a couple more of them up here too. That's fine. But maps. And I've been trying to like come up with a title for them, and like maps for aliens, maps from aliens, maps to aliens, something like that. Trying to cross that void in consciousness that gets us to the other side. And pretty much through these new snooze ideas, dreams, concepts. Let's look at concept cards. How far are we into this one? I'm not too sure. I'm gonna shut this off soon. I got some work I gotta get done today. I will come back to this. I'll just kind of take where I kind of left off yesterday, maybe from Art Oracles. Because she pops up often for me. I'm just kind of, she's always on the sidelines. I don't know. Just kind of put it away. And yesterday when I was putting the cards away, she kind of popped up there. It's fine. And then put it on the deck and been sitting with it since yesterday. I might have mentioned her at some point too. And I'll read the rest of the card here. Remembering through art is better than forgetting. A lot of times the emotional logic tries to suppress the creative side, the emotional side, especially socially, and the dogmatic, pragmatic side of the patriarchy. So in this like feminine evolution, revolution, coming back around to feminine energy and this sort of quantum dynamic. Buckminster Fuller is going to come out and help me with this one. Because a lot of this emotional stuff we do want to put off to the side. Maybe before we really dive into her, let's kind of set the foundation for it with this Buckminster, because he's got the matrix, the energetics. He's got the matrix energetics in his hand, the logical masculine side. And we have here the spider with all the limbs, the nerves, right? It's almost like the brain and all the nerves that come out that dissipate or move that energy through the web, the spider on the web, right? When you pull one aspect of the web, the whole shape of the web is changed. But spiders often represent feminine creativity, and she is a woman and he is a man. She's in her whatever furry coat and he's in a suit tie. Live to serve, serve to solve, invent the words by which to live your life. Great heights are best seen from your lowest points. And here we are at my low point, one of my lowest points. It's transformation. I'm guiding you through transformation, and it's important for me to understand how to communicate this process by going through this process again. That's just the way I'm understanding this structure of the purpose of my life through the research and the mathematics and the understanding that what has helped me to overcome and transform again and again and again and again and again. I didn't fully heard, did I? Okay. It's perspective taking. And pull back a little bit and then launch forward or launch into a different direction. Let me I'm thinking about that here. Because I'm going to lose battery in just a second. If I don't. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. Serve to solving problems, problem solving through transformation. Energy isn't created or destroyed, so you're not going to create anything new or not going to destroy anything or whatever. Problems exist in order to be solved. Containing, but changing the words by which you live by, so problems aren't problems. They're energy containments to be alchemized and transferred and transmitted into different ways. Nothing wrong with that. I think there a little bit that is under here, that's why I've had that matrix energetic book for a long time, and I approach it like this often. Buckminster. Here, right here. Then we'll go into Louise, because I think it's easier for people to kind of ground themselves into logic before diving into the emotion. It's kind of harder to be emotional and then derive logic. No one always leads into the other one way or another. I can't say that. It's just the state of the world, the way things are at the moment. It's fine. We'll speak to what's relevant. Just stay in the expansion. Maybe the flow. One biography isn't enough for Bucky Fuller. The great thinker and inventor lived many lives under many titles. It's okay to be multiple things. It's okay to go through multiple transformations. It's okay to change again and again and again. It's okay to start over and to start over and to restart and to restart and to restart and to try new things and to be creative and to be inventive. That's how you don't stagnate, right? Described Think hitting rock bottom and landing on an epiphany to help better humanity. You have to go through the experience to understand what it's like. If you haven't experienced it firsthand, it's hard to help other people go through that same thing. You don't really know what you're talking about. So why I want to say like indoctrination can have good implications, like formal training, something about things being passed forward not through the telephone game, but for rote and meaning, by rote and not interpreted meaning. Symbol shapes. I think that's why numbers are so easy to convey. Nonverbal stuff, vibrational stuff is easier to convey because words change depending on the time, the era, the culture, how people relate to them, the meaning people attribute to them. So it can get really confusing. His famous Fullerisms include synergetics, the study of transforming systems, and spaceship Earth. The idea that as crew members aboard Earth, we must collaborate harmoniously to protect our finite resources, transforming yourself for the sake of humanity. Fuller's theory that frequent timed napping could replace traditional sleeping did not take into account people's preference for sleep over productivity. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Let's just kind of stay on this track. Because I can take that one. But we're going to go towards Louise here. Into the spider web. She was born in France in 1911. Lucky enough to experience enough childhood trauma to influence an art career that thrived well into her 98th year on Earth. Well, that's one way of putting it, huh? If it takes shit to make bliss. Bourgeois worked in a variety of media, including sculpture and illustration, exploring themes on personal history and shitty family dynamics. Bourgeois scrutinized and subverted domesticity. She is recognized for her large-scale public sculptures of spiders, an ode to her dexterous and protective mother. Among other recurring symbols and sexually suggestive forms, later in life, Bourgeois was generous with her time and brutal honesty. In her New York home, she held Sunday salons for young artists to whom she personally served their own asses for making bad art. I don't want to do that. Who wants to come over for a Sunday salon? So you just serve you your ass. Just kidding. Not really, but it would be entertaining. Shift in perspective taking. Not to be mean. No. Is the catalyst for transformation. Duh. Do we have anything else here? Oh, the Conjure deck. And Princess of Wands. Maybe Nine of Wands too. She's here, but I don't know if I want to talk about her. Let me see if there's anything else I missed out here, and then we'll close this off for today. Oh yeah, the barriers that once prevented you from taking the sleep are burning away. Starting an adventure at level 1. I think even if you are an expert in whatever field you are in, And you've been doing the same thing forever and ever, and even if it's kind of working out for you, let's look at what's not working out. But let's take this eclipse opportunity to begin at level 1. Level 1, transformation. Even the things that could be perceived to be good for you on the outside, those comforts, in the long run, they could be preventing you from reaching your highest potential, your greatest self. Something again about that toroidal field relationship and the siphoning energy. So maybe we will look at this one. Oh, excuse me. Oh, clear that one out. It's interesting me in these places when I get like self-conscious about people in the physical space, not even like this space, watching me while I'm doing this. No, it's fine. I mean, everyone's in here eventually anyway, so we're just gonna have to own it. Here, and then the conjure cards, and then here's the your hard work is paid off and you are gathering your riches in. The Nine of Discs represents returning health and vitality, personal prosperity, gathering rosebuds. Well, you may treat yourself to this moment of abundance, comfort, and prosperity. Taste the sweet fruits of your labor. You're surrounded by plenty. You can have everything you need in order to make all of this happen. The energy cannot be created or destroyed, so it depends on your perspective and perspective taking. Perspective taking within the container, within an environment, making conscious choices within self in order to restructure the environment, trying to get out of a container or an environment that is kind of holding you down for their own benefit. It could be quite challenging and disorienting. I'm gonna go there. I can go there for later reflection. I'm just gonna put these guys back in their box. We're gonna smudge a little bit. And we can pull 2's coming to mind. 2 is the conjure cards, but 3 often comes out. I like things in odd numbers. Things in threes divinity. Clear out anything that might have come up in the space so far that might be clouding or blocking our judgment. We're going to. This is kind of powerful stuff today. Go into Revelations. The woman just broke a record onto the Appalachian Trail, I believe it was. Something it takes, experienced people weeks and months to do. She knocked out in like 40 days or something. Months and months and months. Or whatever, something. To raise awareness about the feminine power and what women are capable of doing. I'm gonna shuffle again. Okay, ask your question. Set your intention. Transformation, walls, I'm trying to burn away these walls. Level 1. What do we need to know about level 1? Level 1 is just begun. There are tools that we need. Tools, resources, insights. Let's split it up to 3 piles. 1, 2, 3. In seeing this, the first thing coming to mind is lead. Lead, the symbol for lead being Saturn, which is like a cross with a hook. Cross, hooks, 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 cross and hooks, Saturn, lead. The old. When we're talking about going from one side to the other in this emotional space, in this water journey. And then 2's the luck. And the luck that comes out and comes through all of this. Patience, please wait. Consolidate, concentrate, just be you. Take those actions, make those steps, put the vibration out there. It doesn't have to have a word. You can express it however. You can make up a word for whatever that blue is. 10 clubs, 3 crosses. This deck, this gets me every time. I can write up to it in the book too. Throughout the southern Appalachian Hills, 3 crosses deck the hillside next to the billboards advertising ginseng, car insurance, and church messages such as "Hell is real." The folks of Appalachia have long looked to Calvary for their salvation from poverty, pain, and illness, just like everything was completed on Calvary. The 10 of clubs shows the completion of plans or events coming to a close. They show good things to come after a long period of hard work and bearing your cross. It's a spiritual pat on the back. So if you've been sticking to the guides and listening to the guides and doing the work and haven't quite paid off for it, just keep going. Okay. Yourself on deck. Okay. It's like the prelude is over, the intro is over. Again, I just start playing this game. Okay, we sit through this whole intro, whatever. Why can't I just start level 1? What's with the intro story? What's with that background story? The context. That's important. The context is super important. Let's talk about these guys. Jack Hearts, huh? Bass fish. To dream of fish is a sign of wealth and fertility. The Jack of Hearts foretells a child. No gender specified. A male representing a young person who is selfish and only thinks of themselves. How you relate to the emotional self and internal processing is going to affect how you relate to the world around you. Why are you trying to help others? Why? You have to be super honest and clear with yourself on this one. Oftentimes the motives or let's say the function of the behavior can be hidden. It's not exactly obvious. Empathy building is important. That's why we have pain. That's why pain keeps showing up and why it's like pain is not a bad thing. Because we build empathy when we go through these difficult connections and we have these horrific childhood experiences or like just these traumas that are uncomfortable. We build empathy. We build compassion. You don't have a concept for pain because you've been coddled or prevented from experiencing pain. It's just as detrimental as somebody, forcing pain upon another person to teach them a lesson. There's natural contingencies, like the fire. You touch a fire, you can get burned and experience the permanence of that. But in alchemy, that's a natural fourth element. We don't control fire. You can attempt to control a burn, have these controlled burns. It doesn't. Well, it doesn't contain. Oh, it looks like contain and transfer thing again. Okay, let's look at this too and let's get out of here. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for showing up in this space. Yes, you can reach out to me for private readings. Clover and pennies. Of course, everyone knows four-leaf clovers and pennies are good luck, and that's exactly what this card entails. The finances that promises good partnership. Something about gossip in there too keeps coming forward. Like the telephone game yesterday, or like kind of again that theme. What words are you paying attention to? What stories, what messages are you paying attention to? Is it stuff that's made up? Is it stuff that's logical? And interesting too, I think, in regards to transformation, when just if you've just had bad luck and gone through a lot of horrible things, you're kind of going from that bottom up and making that shift and making that transformation. A lot of people are going to be gossiping and talking shit. They don't understand transformation and in that liminal space. It's just kind of part of it. You can radically accept that it's going to be part of the process and then do what you can to work through it and stand in your power, stand in yourself, and just make change. I don't think there's anything else today. I think that's all. Let's clear this out. Throw it down. Cleanse it. Okay, bye.